Mm-hmm. Got two more questions here. These are geographical questions. I don't know if you'll be able to answer them, but I'll go ahead and ask them. Chemtrail Kathy wants to know, do you know anything about Hardin, Montana? And then Lana adds also Orlando, Orlando, Florida. Any of those areas?
I don't know anything about Orlando, Florida. I've seen all the web traffic on Hardin, Montana. That brings something up very important, Val, that I forgot to mention to you guys, and it's probably the most important thing that I can bring up to you and your subscribers, and that is that I have a gentleman that works with NATO. Okay, he has top security clearance. He worked at Minot Air Force Base many years ago. I don't know if you remember the August 2007 incident with the 6 nukes that left, and only 5 arrived in Barksdale, Alabama. There wasn't very much coverage on it at the time. I didn't even know about it. He brought it up to me. He asked me a series of questions that only military would know to make sure that I was who I said I was before he would continue with me. And I know he's for real because the address that he was using to write me from, you could not write back to. It said forbidden access. So I know that this guy is legit. And I'm just going to break in to tell you what he told me. Okay. August 2007, on a B-52 bomber leaving Minot Air Force Base, they were not supposed to be taking live nukes, but they left with live nukes, okay, on them. Well, they were told that it left with 6, but when it arrived in Barksdale Air Force Base, there was only 5.
So there's a missing nuke.
Well, there are only certain people. Now, this is probably going to get some fire under my feet, but thank the Lord I got His protection. Only 5 arrived. There are only a handful of people in our United States military that can give that authorization. Only a handful. No one at Minot Air Force Base could have authorized it, and no one at Barksdale could have authorized it. Now, there are 3 words for your people that are listening to you tonight to look up. The first word is called bent spear.
Can you spell that?
Okay. B-E-N-T, spear, S-P-E-A-R, bent spear. It's quite similar to broken arrow, but they don't use broken arrow. They use bent spear. Okay? The second set of words is empty, E-M-P-T-Y, quiver, Q-U-I-V-E-R. Okay? And the third one is pinnacle, P-I-N-N-I-C-L-E, pinnacle. Now, those 3 words will tell you what happened, if I spelled that last one right. I'm not sure. But wow. He's really elusive to a lot of the things. But he sends me things like that so that I can figure it out on my own. Well, bent spear is a lawsuit.
Quiver and bent spear is a lawsuit.
A lost nuke.
Oh, lost nuke. Sorry. Okay.
Empty quiver is either theft. It's theft or stolen. And then pinnacle is destruction. Now, he informed me that if I wanted to get this out, I should get it out soon. Now, I recently made a video that touched on those subjects, but I didn't quite put all the stuff in there that he told me. But it was enough to make people think. Now, if anybody's been paying attention to the news, which I try to as much as I can, I realize that they don't put the true stuff on TV like they should. They only put 70% truth, or 30% truth, 70% lie?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I know that recently there's this big scare of EMP attacks, electromagnetic pulse attacks.
Yes, we're hearing a lot about that.
So if I were to tell you that was the lost nuke that was missing, would that make sense to you?
Well, I know that they can cause the EMPs.
Exactly. I'm just going off of what my friend told me. He Very, very smart guy. He also wrote me back during the Hardin, Montana, not to get too off Hardin, Montana subject, but he told me that that's a farce. Now, I would like myself, someone from Hardin, Montana, to contact me to tell me whether it's true or not, because this gentleman said it's put on to get your attention to that area.
So it's a diversion.
A diversion, yes.
Okay, so what in your, now this is just talking to you, the person, what is your, say, best analytical answer to what happened to that nuke, in your opinion?
In my opinion, my personal opinion.
Yes, personal opinion.
My personal opinion is people like, well, I'm not going to say his name because that would be wrong. People that were in power at the time, how's that are still in power today.
Okay.
Wanted so bad at the end of Bush when he was let go, or when his term was up, right before Barack Obama was elected. That was prime time for something to happen. What I've heard and what I think is that it is a setup. It is a setup. At first, they're going to think it's, I don't know, Iran or some other country over there, and then they're going to turn the tide. My personal opinion is that they are going to turn the tide and say it was religious nut jobs, right-wing extremists, which
all of us
kind of fall in there. I fall in there. So, yeah, then they'll turn around and blame it on the right-wing extremists that they're calling it, and then once they do that, that gives the rest of the public that are asleep or in the dark or just hoodwinked by our president's administration right now, and aptly turn us in without a problem. And knowing myself and you that we would have never done anything like that.
Right. That
is
seems
my
very,
personal opinion.
Seems pretty reasonable to me, because, you know, we are definitely targeted, and it's very interesting because, who was it? I was watching the cackling hens on The View the other morning while I was taking care of a patient of mine, and who was it? Napatalo, what is her name? Janet.
Napolitano.
Thank you. Janet Napolitano was actually on The View the other day, and there was the question arose about having right-wing extremists, conservative types, veterans specifically, she was really addressing veterans, put on a terrorist list, a domestic terrorist list. And Janet goes on to say she didn't refute it. She said, yes, that is true, but it was poorly written. So she recanted, said it was poorly written, and that was done because there was some study that was done that pointed to veterans being likely candidates for any kind of extreme actions toward their country or government, or joining Islam.
Well,
so
I can tell you, yeah, okay.
So I love the way that she just kind of, I don't know, she went over the question. She didn't really address it, and in fact, Barbara Walters interrupted and changed the subject real quick. But this Hispanic gal that was on that panel, she was a guest on that panel. She was really on top of her ball game. It was kind of a female version of Glenn Beck. It was kind of funny. Anyways, this is a program that we talk about bringing you news that the news does not cover, and also talking about survival strategies. That's very important. And real quick, I want to go ahead and plug our website. This is a private Christian network. Lots of great information on this site. It is www.operation13-9.ning.com. Go there, get signed up, and there's somewhere around 219 members there. We're growing on a weekly basis. What that is it's a network of Christians who are coming together, putting their heads together, figuring out refuges, figuring out survival strategies, sharing information, It's a great source. It's a great site. Get plugged in, and I'll go ahead and put that